Hey fellow Aquas, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your first half of May general reading here. So in the meditation, short but sweet, I was in the middle of the desert and I saw, like, they used to do like drive-in movies like back in the day, and there was this big like drive-in movie screen, but the screen had been ripped out, so it was just the frame out in the middle of this desert. And then I'm standing there looking at this empty frame, like projection frame, and there's this huge source of light, and I wanted to turn and like look at it, and I felt like my ear go deaf over here, and that like slight ringing sound that means like, like listen in. And then I turned and I walked towards this light, and I saw all the Aquarian collective kind of coming and standing in this light and looking up. So it was kind of like a shift of focus from this empty screen, what something once was, into this new light. Then I saw a peacock come and stand in the middle of this light, and it was like Fabergé egg level, ornate peacock, standing there. Well, it was kind of more floating, really. And everyone was looking at this peacock. Peacock is very much about allowing yourself to be seen. It's very much about insisting, not just, I want to say, we could look at this literally and say, oh, like, it's about standing in your light. Okay, great. What does that mean, though? Right, what does that mean? Does that just mean, like, I stand outside and allow myself to be, like, admired and looked upon? You know what I mean? It feels like it's more of, like, there's an aspect of the Aquarian collective and of you, right, that wants to be brought to the forefront of your experience in a way that might be a little scary or intense. It's a funny dichotomy because Aquarians, very much want to be heard and seen and understood for the unique beings that they are. But there's another aspect of the Aquarian energy that's a bit like, okay, I want all of those things, and I'm going to give you the medicine because I got medicine to give. But then I want to go off and be on my own, and then I want to observe you from a high off tower, put into play the medicine and instructions that I gave you and all the insights and inspiration. I'm going to observe you from afar because I really need my alone time. It's interesting. And I know, like, I feel like you're like, is an Aquarius? You're like, yeah, that's right. But here's the thing. I feel like with this, there's an aspect of this that says there might need to be around this in some way, shape, or form, less time away and more time in the light, in front of others, really communicating and engaging, actively engaging with other people on a larger scale. In a way that kind of feels, oh God, that's a lot, but it feels like it is time. And I feel like if the more open-minded you are to what form that takes and what it might require of you, the more you will find that maybe that certain kite fits you a little bit better than you thought it might. But this is directly related to you being seen or in the public eye or acknowledged or at a point of recognition. It's about others looking at you and or seeing you. You could be stepping into a position of new management at your work. You could be entering into a relationship with someone who's in the public eye, or you're in the public eye. You could be working on something that will put you into the public eye or more into the public eye. You could be revealing a part of yourself to other people even close to you that is going to draw attention to you and certain aspects of yourself that you've kept private. But there's something about that, bringing that into the light. That's interesting too, because the empty movie screen, if you watch a movie, right, you're bringing your attention. It's more like you're able to watch it and observe it, and it's an energy that you're bringing to it, right? In a way, like you are giving it your attention, and you have the autonomy to turn it off or walk away or take your attention away from it, right? But you're giving energy to it. The light, though, felt like it was coming at you or onto you. Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like a different sort of energy exchange going on there. With one, you were coming towards it, and the other one was like coming towards you. And the second one felt Like, just to be completely honest, it didn't necessarily feel like it felt like a reluctant, like someone who's like a reluctant Messiah. Like, I don't want to take that literally, but I'm hearing that book, The Reluctant Messiah. I think it's by, okay, that's a book, that's a definite book recommendation for y'all. The Reluctant Messiah, Richard Bach, I believe it's by. There's something in that for you. I don't always get book recommendations, but that's very strong coming in. But there is something about you're being asked or encouraged to break out of your comfort zone and reveal or allow yourself to be seen in a way that could be uncomfortable, but that you will be rather glad that you did. There's going to be a payoff that's worth any initial discomfort, whether it requires more of your time, more of your presence, more of your energy, revealing things that you'd want to keep private. There's something about it that's going to cost you in some way, but as it turns out, you're a better fit for this than maybe you would have thought going in. And Aquarians as fixed signs, we don't, like, it's amazing. We have a very open mind when it comes to the collective and humanity, like, as a whole. We don't always have the most, like, open mind when it comes to our own shiz, like, our own business. Like, it's a bit like, what do you mean change? We want change for the world, but change for me? No. Right? So there's something coming in around that and going, okay, well, let's put our money where our mouth is, and let's be the change that we want to see, not just inspire others to be the to be that change, right? There's something about putting the money where the mouth is. Very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and see what the cards say. Hey, Aquarians, let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is for the first half of May. Animal energy for the first half of May. What's going on? Oh, indeedy, indeedy. Look who's on the bottom there. Caw. Okay. This is right. Okay. So we have the cosmic egg here. So let's talk all about this. First of all, this circle here represents that of spirit, which is a way of saying that this is a major moment in the energy cycles here for Aquarius. This is not arbitrary. This is not like, a Page of Swords, hummingbird coming in to be like, oh, it's going to be a sweet time of life. No, this is a major moment. Okay, so this is making sense. Now, cosmic egg equates to the world key in the tarot, which speaks of a successful completion of a cycle, victory, cause for celebration, major success and achievement. This is a major, major moment of accomplishment and feeling really, really good about something that you have brought to completion. It's really interesting how this is coming forward. Now, also, the cosmic egg with the serpent here, wrapping around here, there is an aspect of the cosmic egg that speaks of the birth of the philosopher. Now, a little bit of nerd trivia for y'all, but I know y'all are going to be with it because you're my fellow Aquas. This was originally sourced from a drawing by Jacob Bryant that is, I think it's in the 1770s. This drawing originated from. This was in a alchemical or like a science textbook from that time. And Jacob Bryant created this image and talks about the birth of the philosopher in terms of a new age coming into existence and the death of old ideas or ways of doing something, and like a new birth, a time of enlightenment. Right? It's kind of like the Industrial Revolution in a way, where it comes about and it's like, oh, we do things differently now, right? So the birth of the philosopher, also expanding the mind and thinking of new ideas and solutions to old or pre-existing problems, right? So it's that mind expansion, right? It's that genius, right? But this is an expansion of the mind, birth of the philosopher with the world key. This is successful completion of a given cycle, victory. Now, also, we were talking about change, right? With Aquarians being a fixed sign, change, serpents, snakes, that's all about change and shedding the old skin to have that new skin emerge, and all that's involved with that, right? The metamorphosis of letting old things die away, whether that's thoughts that we have, fears that we have, comfort zones, whatever that is, in favor of a new skin that might leave us more vulnerable at first, right? But ultimately allows us to be aligned with a lot newer and better and bigger opportunities for ourselves in the name of soul growth, right? Because isn't that what we're here to do, right? so here for it. Also, another little bit of trivia. I feel I'm in a sharing mood today, y'all. This was my first tattoo that I ever got. Was not from this deck, obviously. My tattoos from way before this deck was created, but I found that illustration by Jacob Bryant in a very old book, and it was my first ever tattoo. So, a little extra trivia for y'all. Now, we're using the Akashic Tarot today. I'm really obsessed. So it's going to be a bit different here in the primary, oh my god, row, but I hope you'll get with it. So, and I think you will. So, one of Rose's, commitment. So, let's talk all about this. This is my favorite key in this deck, by the way, so I'm just kind of here for it. So, commitment, this speaks of several different things, so let's just go there. Firstly, this speaks of the commitment we have to and for and with ourselves, right? To live a life of integrity, to not have any regrets, to go above and beyond our perceived limitations, to maintain that fighting spirit where we feel like we can, handle whatever challenges come our way and not shirk ourselves into the shadows. For us we agreed with ourselves to be, the best versions of ourselves that we possibly could be, right? That's this commitment. See how this is old with like the feather, like the quill pen here? This is something that we came into this incarnation with. These are the lessons that I want to learn. This is what I want to achieve. And this is how I want to evolve as a soul. Listen, we're going to be getting deep today, y'all, because it's the Akashic Tarot, okay? This speaks of like soul level events, which is really perfect with this cosmic egg as well, right? Now, another aspect of commitment speaks of actually signing contracts, agreeing to something, committing to something, anything of the written word that's like, okay, like level up, we're going to commit to this, we're going to go for it, we're going to take this contract, we're going to sign up to film this, we're going to sign up to whatever, like submit this to a publisher or to this, or whatever it is, ABC, XYZ, right? But this is that level of upgrading and taking it up a notch, right? Of something that is significant and will affect us in major ways moving forward. Now, another aspect of this, because it is rosy and everything, this is something that really, really involves our heart chakra and something that is incredibly important to us. Again, whether that's commitment to and for ourselves to live the life that we most desire to live and leave this world not only better than how we found it, but having no regrets. This also involves committing ourselves to lines of work and or relationships, because this can be marriage contracts as well, that truly feel like they are such an important part of our soul group and purpose, right? But these are soul ties, right? And agreements and committing to things that, are larger than just like an arbitrary, month to month gem membership. You know what I mean? All right, what else is going on? Okay. Ooh, we got 2 for 1. I'm here for it. Okay. All right, let's talk about this. Woo, I have shivers. Okay, so we have Archangel Gabriel here. This is like almost 2 on the nose. Archangel Gabriel is the angel of communication, of performers, of writers, of those in the spotlight, anybody and anyone who is in the public eye. Interesting. How we were talking about allowing ourselves to be seen in a more pronounced or more obvious, overt, in the light, stark, I would say, sort of way. So it's interesting. Archangel Gabriel is a lot about communication. Why are you here and what do you have to say? How do we communicate how we feel and what we think in a way that can not only incite change, but also we say what we mean and we mean what we say, right? Archangel Gabriel can come in to help us communicate anything and everything within our interpersonal relationships, teaches us how to communicate, more beneficially with and for ourselves as well, because how we speak to ourselves, there's nothing more important than that. Because let me let you in on a little something that you likely already know. How we speak to ourselves, we speak to other people. In some way, shape, or form. Eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like inside wants out for real. So it's, if we can alter our self-talk, right, and really be mindful of how we communicate with and for ourselves, that can really move mountains. So remember I said that there was that aspect of I want to say walking the talk, but that's not it. Talking the talk and walking the walk. We can know things, right? Like from a headspace, but actually putting them into action and living our truth and being the example, is another thing entirely, right? And there's something about that's important during this time. It feels very important. And Gabriel's here to help with that. Again, anyone who's in a line of work that involves public speaking, being on stage, in the light, public eye, anyone who even has to write for work or loves to write, anything to do with communication, counselors, mediators, anyone who uses communication, even lawyers, as a core part of their work, right? And where words are important. Gabriel's coming in here to go, oh, hey, I can help with that. So now this is fascinating. So 5 of Forces, so summer, winter. So this is really fascinating because this came up in the reverse. So I want to talk about this. This is really interesting. Do you remember in the opening meditation when I saw that empty movie screen in the drive-thru, right? So look at this winter landscape. It kind of feels like that, right? Where there was no screen and it was kind of like a stark, it was desert, it was hot, but there was nothing in it. Stark, barren in the screen, no movie to play. And then I saw that light coming through, and then we have the sun here. It was like everyone turning towards the light, right? It's interesting that this came up in reverse. Now, when this is in reverse, this is saying the light has been under the bushel in some way, shape, or form for a little bit too long. And it's really time to come up out of this like stewing or steeping or waiting or planning, right? See how the sun is here, but it's a bit obscured by the clouds, and really allow yourself to come to the forefront and be seen, or put your work forth, submit something, submit yourself, film that treatment you've been wanting to film, apply for that thing that you've wanted to apply for, whatever this is for you. The prep work is done. There's been enough time around it. It is time to take some sincere action where that is concerned. That's what this is in the reverse. Fascinating, right? You know what's fascinating about this as well is, let's talk about Beltane briefly, because we're in the 5th month of the year, May, right? So in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in the season of Beltane, which is very much where we physically and metaphorically come out of the dark time of year, right? And we come out and we're romping among the flowers. It's a very fertile time. We're underneath the sun. We're dancing around the maypole. We're doing all of the things. We're doing the most, right? The days are lengthening, moving towards the summer equinox. So it's really interesting that this came up here. In what ways, right, can we more fully implant ourselves into the energy of Beltane, which is risk-taking, getting outside of our comfort zone, and sort of allowing ourselves to be seen in a more pronounced way? I also just heard the word collaboration. Is someone hesitant to collaborate, or can someone use some help with collaboration? With Gabriel, collaboration. I just heard collaboration. Communication, collaboration, writing, public speaking. What's that? What am I thinking of? Not influencer. What's the term I'm thinking of? When a motivational speaker, Jesus, someone whose work has to do with like motivating others, a motivational speaker, or something that you're working on is going to motivate people. There's something about that. There's something about that. Gabriel is here to help. Right. Commitment. Right. So we have the Hanged Man here to clarify commitment. Now remember, the Hanged Man is about taking that time out and assuming the Hanged Man pose to flip your perspective and see something differently, right? This is really, really interesting as it's coming up with commitment, right? I really feel like we're being asked to take a different view on what we do spend time on, what we commit to, and what it looks like. Because I feel like what it looks like, again, with more light here. Do you see the darkness and then the light? I feel like there's a certain comfort zone that wants to be excavated. And I feel like that's going to be different for different people. But I feel like there's some of y'all who are a bit like, yeah, I'm way out of my comfort zone. Like I'm like doing this and that. And then I kind of feel like there's this energy of spirit going, if you're comfortable, then you're in your comfort zone. Yo, if you're comfortable, you're in your comfort zone. I mean, it's funny because it's like this is not to say it's an extreme thing of like we always need to be outside of, always be uncomfortable or anything like that. But there's something in that where it's like this kind of laugh where it's like, okay, You know what I mean? But I feel like that's what's coming up here. It's like if you're comfortable, you're not in your comfort zone. Or I'm sorry, if you're comfortable, you are in your comfort zone. And there's something about allowing yourself to pop outside of that for the real expansion and propelling forward that wants to happen. Again, it's this aspect of putting your money where your mouth is and being willing to take those risks and really go far and beyond where you've been before, right? It's like, let's be wild and daring. Let's be insane, Aquarius, ingenious, wild thinkers. You know what I mean? This all feels very uniform and like, yes, I go out of my comfort zone because my work is like, you know, very personal. No, it ain't. Your work is personal and you are sharing that, but you are comfortable with doing so because you are. This is a particular energy around this particular time that I'm channeling for Beltane season that says, be willing to really excavate your own comfort zone, what it looks like, what it's made of, and then kind of flip it over. Let everything like fall out into the bottom and then kind of rearrange it and see like, oh, where are all these parts and where do they go? Let's Picasso this situation. Let's Picasso this situation and change where the shapes where you think they should go and then see what comes of it, right? There's something about that. Archangel Gabriel. Hello and goodbye and hello again. 10 of Pentacles to clarify Archangel Gabriel. Okay, so 10 of Pentacles, brilliant. So this speaks of happy home and family. See these two bunnies here? Happy home and family that is aligned and matched with monetary abundance, inheritance, and legacy. So what I take from this is that this work that we're talking about, or whatever this is that comes up for you, that you around this energy that we are currently speaking of, it has the potential to have some long-lasting effects, right? So, for example, if you're a writer, this is something that's going to be around for generations to come, long-lasting effects. If you, whatever you're doing in the public eye or whatever work you do, if you're a lawyer, a mediator, a counselor, the work that you are doing is something that is not arbitrary. We just had a weekly reading similar to this. It's going to be something that positively affects change over the course of more than one generation. For example, if you are a counselor, right, and you're helping someone, that is going to allow them to make changes in their life so that their children don't inherit their hang-ups, which affects their children more positively, and you're helping this person to break and engage their karma, right? You can look at this a lot of different ways and really fall down that rabbit hole, but ultimately this is a signal of, first of all, the work that you're doing and the people that you're with, right? Because this is about relationships as well, are really looking to the long term, especially with this commitment. There's something about a relationship that you're involved in right now, whether this is a romantic partnership, business partnership, collaboration, whatever company even that you're involved with, that it feels like it's an incredibly strong foundation and that a lot can happen from it, and that you're really being asked to consider how you can more fully take advantage of this potential and this opportunity that's there by allowing yourself to flip your perspective on what your limits are and then go beyond them. Okay. Five of Forces in reverse, indeed. Okay. Do you see this? Okay, so first of all, so this is the Lovers. By the way, we're talking about Beltane season. The Lovers is the energy of Beltane season as we go into Gemini time towards the end of May. So this is really, really, really weirdly spot on, because also we have summer and winter. You see the duality here? And then we have the white swan and the black swan. We have the stark and the light. And then we have like the image here of like the, right? The two partners here is really, really interesting. Remember we saw the movie screen with no screen in it and the light. There's a lot about duality and choices here, right? And polarity, which is really, really fascinating. So traditionally speaking, the Lovers is about inner and outer duality, but of course, and it's also about choices that are made from love, love-based choices, and really understanding that you know, our relationship, again, back to this commitment thing, our relationship to ourselves, how we speak to ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we operate within and for ourselves outside of our external circumstances really sets the tone and paves the way and affects literally everything in our universe and our circumstances, right? I'm really getting this thing again of like going from winter, you know, into summer. This is a time to really flip this around, move from this landscape into the light, and really allowing yourself to be fully seen, shadow and light, right? Because it's not just about showing one side of yourself or going outside of your comfort zone just as much as it's comfortable. Two, it's really about going beyond your perceived limitations and daring and defying yourself against like what you thought or think is appropriate or normal or you, quote, right? I feel like you're going to have a series of choices to make. And I feel like some of them are going to scare the shit out of you. And I say that in a positive way. I mean scaring the shit out of you in that really exciting way. It's like, oh my God, like I got this opportunity. There's this offer. There's this idea. But if I go along with it, my God, it scares me. But I'm obsessed. And oh God, like I have shivers just thinking about it. But I want to take us back to the cosmic egg and say, whatever this could be for you, whether this is a relationship, work, promotion, idea, whatever it is, right? We have the cosmic egg here, which speaks of a successful completion and victory and all the reason to celebrate in the world. But I feel like there's something else to this. From a soul perspective, there's something about taking this risk or being willing to dare or going outside of your comfort zone or preconceived limitations that is going to close out a certain karmic cycle within and for you of making more fear-based choices and not banking enough on yourself and having enough faith and putting aside that fear where you're willing to propel yourself into lands unknown, right? It's like the moment that you actually do that, right? The minute that you set upon a new road and have no idea where it's going to go, that in itself is closing out a certain karmic, it's interesting how this is coming forward, is closing out a certain karmic cycle that it's like I'm seeing a video game where you do that and then boop, it opens up a whole new bank of levels for you that you didn't know were there. It's like spirit is waiting going, are they willing to come outside of this box? Are they willing to do more than they think they can do? Are they willing to be afraid and freaked out, but in a good way, right? Because if they are, there's this whole other level up that's available here, or series of levels up, right? It's available here, but it's an opportunity to work with the energy as it is. But I'll tell you though, I feel like as it is, you can feel this energy and keep going the way that you're going and be just fine because it's all really positive. Like for real, it's all very positive. And it's really about an opportunity for you about in terms of your soul expansion, how much you want to really push your own personal boundaries and seeing what's on the other side of that. You know, someone in particular is coming to mind. I'm seeing Brene Brown. There could be something in her work for you. There's something about Brene Brown coming forward where there's something about allowing yourself to consider or see yourself from a lens that might surprise you, but also might be scary because it could call into question how you've been living up into this point or some of your choices that have gotten you to this point. But again, it's all positive. It doesn't feel like it's like, you know, like a tower moment is imminent or anything like that. It's more like, hey, you're doing quite well. How would you can do like more, you can shift your experience to something that is, you know, on a grander scale, more big time in some way, shape, big time, whatever, but in some way, shape or form. And I feel like there's this commitment coming into, it's like, hey, how would you feel if this is the potential, if you really allowed yourself to think outside of the box and do the things that scare you? How do you feel about that? What would you do around that? It's more of a question and an invitation more than anything. It's really exciting though. It's a very exciting potential. Let's go ahead and get an oracle. Oracle for Aquarius. Let's do it. Wow. Wow, this is really interesting. Okay. So this is tying into Gabriel. So let's take Gabriel up here. So here we have the Word Lord. Can you see that? Word Lord. Communication, back to Gabriel, communication, praise, right? Dishonesty. Now what's really, really interesting about this, if you think about communication, being in the public eye, or allowing yourself to be in a more vulnerable position where people are seeing different aspects of you or more of you, or you're in a situation that it's a bit unknown and so then it's a bit scary or whatever it is, you know, this in terms of like praise, dishonesty, communication. Do you remember how we talked about how you speak to yourself, right, sets the tone for everything else? And remember how we're talking about in terms of Archangel Gabriel coming in to help you with how you word and phrase things. And we talked about the written word, and then we have this person like writing here. This is really all about the power of words, but it's also about what truth are you living by, and then inspecting that a little bit more closely, right? There's something about really calling into question, because there's another quill here, right? Really calling into question, okay, this is what you think is the way, you think of the truth, this is what you believe yourself to believe, or whatever have you. But let's take a closer look at what that could be on the other side of me breaking free of these preconceived notions and being willing to scare myself into living in the question a little bit more, because I feel like there's something that wants to be flipped and go, is that, can we take another look at that? Is what it feels like. Can we take another look at that? So there's something in that, and I want to just tie it back to the peacock, because I'm feeling the peacock come up again as well. You know, like I said, peacock is allowing yourself to be seen, right? But it's also, you know, relates to the inside being just as beautiful as the outside. A lot of people think that peacock medicine is about looking physically beautiful, right? But it's not actually. It's actually about how your inner landscape looks. And if that beauty, it's a bit cliche for a reason, I reckon, but if your inner beauty is on point, then that will exude and shine and like affect your outer beauty, that it's your inner beauty that is truly the mark of, you know, that glow that we talk about, right? They just have this glow that comes from within, and that's what it is. And it's interesting that he's sitting in this environment with this glow of candles and everything else. And I feel like there is this real call to investigate and really take another point of consideration around what is true for you, how you go about communicating, and then what you think you are capable of in terms of what you stand for and what message you are here to leave behind in some way, shape, or form, right? I feel like that's what it is, Aquarius. And I also feel like it's pretty deep as well, but I'm hearing like, what is your legacy? What do you stand for? And then with the Word Lord, communication, praise, dishonesty, I feel like there's a certain sense of like allowing yourself to take a risk and know that not everybody is going to dig what you're doing. Not everybody is going to vibe with what they see, right? But that's a lot less important than attracting and calling to and being able to help and serve and inspire the people who will vibe and can relate to what it is and truly innately who you are, right? Something to that. All right, Aquarius, I'm sending you so many blessings for the first half of May. I so hope that this helps and resonates. If so, please do let me know in the comments below. I absolutely love reading your comments. I love reading your comments, Aquarius. Most of all, okay, my fellow Aquas. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, so much, so much for being here. And most of all, and as always, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.